Can I rant real quick about movie descriptions?
Sure.
Okay. I either keep finding ones that are a sentence or like a step-by-step synopsis. That's like 5 paragraphs.
Yep.
I want 2-paragraph descriptions.
I do. I know people don't believe it, but I do a reasonable amount of work prepping for this show, finding good descriptions. Sometimes I'm trolling through people's reviews.
I mean, I tweeted out how annoying it was to find good description for werewolf movies that I haven't seen. Because they kept giving me ones I've seen, and I'm like, nah, I've seen Wolf Cop. It's crazy and ridiculous, and I love it.
Yeah, it's okay. I was just okay with Wolf Cop. But, hello, and welcome to Two Weird Didn't Watch, the show where we make fun of movies that we have not seen, based on only their weird and wonderful descriptions.
If they're good.
If they're...
Not the movies, the descriptions.
I will make the description good, Brantley. I will write a good description if a movie that I haven't seen. No, I do not go that far.
My problem with that is I'm afraid I'm just going to wind up knowing everything about the movie and then won't be able to make jokes about it.
Well,
like with The Beast Must Die, there was a whole synopsis, and I had to really carefully cherry pick things to put.
Okay.
Because otherwise it'd be like, no, you're wrong, this happens.
Well, I appreciate the work that you put into that.
Okay. What did you put work into this week?
This is some stuff. Actually, you know what? This is one of my least prepared for shows, but I do have a document that's full of good stuff. And we're going to start off with The Microwave Massacre. No, it's not a video game adaptation of the part of Goat Simulator where you play as a microwave and kill people.
I forgot about that, but I was thinking options are either this is someone using microwave radiation to make people explode.
Yeah.
Or somehow microwaves became sentient. And as we've learned, they can become cameras, so this is just a step above that.
Was that a political... I've seen so many people snarking about microwaves. I never got the original thing that was about. What was said about microwaves?
I think it was a lady trying to say that they could use microwaves...
to see into our homes or something?
To use them to spy. I don't remember exactly what it was. And people just took it like, she thinks microwaves will turn to cameras.
Okay. I think that... So she's probably going on half-remembered information from that documentary where if you put your cell phone in a microwave, it blocks the radiation from getting to the cell phone, except for my microwave that turns on when you open the door. And that's pretty horrifying, actually.
Yeah.
We have to use it right now by unplugging it, opening the door, plugging it back in, and then entering the time that we want, or our hand gets warm when we put it in there. And that's kind of nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it's kind of hazardous.
That's not what this movie's about, though. That would be great. Construction worker Donald is having a hard time getting anything good to eat.
All right.
Yeah. You really feel for this guy, right?
Dude, I know that feeling.
Starting off with those steaks. Just you know what they tell you in screenwriting class, are create steaks. And somebody's like, this guy has a hard time getting food to eat. Since his wife has decided to only cook gourmet foods.
In fairness, some of those are kind of trash.
Well, I think that the problem with gourmet stuff is that they the quantity that you get is pretty small most of the time.
Yeah.
If you have home cooked, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a gourmet food. I'm not a gourmet eater. I was on a cruise ship. And
my dad and my brothers went to a gourmet Korean restaurant.
Okay, yeah.
Everything
that sounds amazing. By the way,
it sounds amazing. Except everything was bland and it was all the size of a quarter.
Okay, that sounds like gourmet. Although except for the bland part. But I'm thinking of escargot, right? If you just have a giant bowl of escargot that you're eating in front of your TV, that's not that much better than just having chicken nuggets and a pile of ketchup. The quantity just sort of diminishes the value of the food.
Yeah.
So this, by the way, her cooking gourmet food for him at home and her constant harping, I guess she's a harpist, cause him to snap. This guy is eating gourmet food and hearing harp music all day, and he freaks out.
He just wants a burger and some country. That's all he wants.
Can you not learn to play a slide guitar, woman? They cause him to snap, and he whacks her.
Oh, he's part of the mafia?
I don't. Well, so there's the...
Okay, no, I just get the image of some stereotypical mafia guy writing the script, and he's like, yeah, and then he listens to the hot music, and then he drives him a little crazy, so he snaps, and he waxes her. He whacks the broad.
Well,
Tony, what are you doing over there? I'm writing a movie description, Gary. What do you want? Bring your mama's fettuccine. We'll talk about this good movie.
Construction worker Donald's having a hard time getting anything good to eat since his wife has decided to only cook gourmet foods. That and her constant harping caused him to snap, and he whacks her.
The idea of like a movie aficionado who just happens to be in the mob is amazing to me. I've stopped caring about this movie. I want his story.
I'm going to put a horse head in the bed of the man who made this movie.
The Don told me I got to whack his cousin, but I just really want to go see the new Star Wars. They put a lot of work into it, and I really respect the writing.
The new Ghost in the Shell doesn't have a lot of heart. And I don't even care about that whitewashing crap.
There wasn't one Tachikoma. What's up with that?
Okay.
Moving on.
What? No. This guy needs a name. Tony?
Yeah, his name's Tony.
Yeah, and no offense, not the Tony that I know. This is like
no, it's just that stereotypical accent. It's Tony, okay. Probably a fat Tony.
Yeah.
Or you got Philly. And
no,
Philly
is Tony.
Philly's a little more, like Western voiced.
Tony lives with Philly. They sort of room together.
Yeah, and then Tony has his cousin Bobby, who doesn't do any work, and he's kind of lazy, but he's a good guy at hot.
Right, and Tony's just trying to get his YouTube channel off the ground, but he does the bomb work on the side.
Tony, we're learning so much about your life, man.
Oh, no. They know us now. Somewhere in the confusion. No, I'm sorry. I got to keep going with Tony. Somewhere in the confusion, he comes up with the new use for the microwave oven. And he begins to eat much better.
I forgot this movie was about microwaves. I was distracted by Tony.
So, the implication here is that he microwaves his wife? Which I like that he's getting back at her not only by killing her and eating her, but also by cooking her way. In like the lowest class way he can think of.
Right.
He like puts her like probably on a paper plate. He's just shaving meat off. He's like, "This is how I feel about my gourmet food." He freezes her and like makes her into individually packed gourmet or TV dinners.
You think he like garnishes with some of the gourmet food?
No, I don't think so.
No?
Yeah. Soon he's experimenting with different recipes and different meats.
This is the weirdest Hannibal Lecter origin I've ever heard.
Ironically, he comes back around to the gourmet eating.
Yeah, he just like gets really fancy with it. I mean, he kind of is. He's trying new recipes. That's just a step short of it.
I mean, there are those really depressing microwave cookbooks, right? Like I shop for cookbooks, and I actually have one here to the left of me on the stand. It's a whole Korean food cookbook,
right?
Which it makes me sad because every single recipe has something in it that I've never heard of or cooked with before. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, I don't know where to get that. I don't know where to get that. This sounds delicious, but I don't know where to get that. So there's that problem for me, but I forgot where I was going. Oh, right. So there's these microwave cookbooks, and I'm always shopping for like cookbooks at the thrift store because they're cheap there. And you see the microwave cookbooks, and you're like, this was the saddest person. They must have thought this was going to be the best thing when they bought this cookbook for microwaves.
I mean, they could just have like a small apartment. Don't have like I don't have a stove in my apartment.
Oh, that's even the sadder one though. It's like cookbook,
thanks, man.
Or microwave cooking for one. Get a toaster oven or something.
I want like one of those hot plates you get for camping.
Okay, do you have an outlet?
Yeah,
I'll give you I have a hot plate I can give you.
I have electricity, man. Not that
don't
bad.
Don't forget that I have a hot plate I can give you, and you can cook on that. Okay. Moving on, away from the microwave massacre. By the way, I love how much is implied in that. Like they never say like, and then he goes on a killing rampage and eats the people.
No,
he never even explicitly
like
says that he kills his wife.
It's really hard not to do in the accent now. It's a Hannibal Lecter origin story. Just, instead of randomly he has to... It's actually more faithful to the story presented in the first movie where he says nothing caused him to be this way. He just started being like that. As opposed to Hannibal Rising where it's like he was force-fed his sister and then he eats people because apparently he was down with it.
That's a good book, though.
I haven't read it. I haven't read any of the Hannibal books.
I liked it anyway. I was Thomas Harris, very poetic dude. Maybe the plots don't make any sense. I don't care, though. Next up, we have a movie that is half on here just because of the title, Bloodmarsh Krakoon. Got nothing to say about that, huh?
No, I'm getting really cool mental images. I'm just running them out for a minute. I'm picturing a cephalopoid cocoon, because Krakoon. So crack in a cocoon.
Okay.
So it's like the cephalopod that cocoons itself, and then it becomes like a moth octopus monster.
I love where your brain is at, Brantley, and I'm very sad because that's not what a Krakoon is in this movie.
Is it a butterfly squid monster?
A new terror stalks the residents of the Bronx.
It's in the Bronx, so the Tony voice works.
Urban residents claim a vicious, crack-addicted raccoon nicknamed Red Eye was behind a series of gruesome murders in Bronx neighborhood.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Locust Point.
Man, Rocket got really rough after the Guardians broke up.
I thought you were going to be disappointed by the raccoon.
No.
Like, the portmanteau of crack and raccoon, like, I'm down with. But I liked your cephalopod in a weird cocoon better.
Because I can actually see the description for that one, and it's Kraken, or Krakoon spelled with a K instead of a C.
Yeah.
So,
well, K is a cooler use of that.
Well, yeah, it's one of the extreme cool letters, like Y and Z.
I'm going to change this up. This is temporary, but I'm going to change it up just to see what it looks like with C's in there. CRCCOON. Somebody write that word out. If you just, I don't. The visual is amazing of that word. I can see why they changed it to K because Krakoon with all C's is absolutely laughable.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the CK because I understand why they did that.
Anyways, back to the raccoon. I mean, raccoons are already kind of messed up because what they are is they're tiny, really smart bears.
Right? Yeah.
With hands. Like, have you seen their hands? Rocket in Guardian of the Galaxy is not that anthropomorphized other than him standing straight up all the time.
Yeah.
They straight up have hands, and their hands are really sensitive, by the way. Fun fact. Most of their nerve clusters are actually in their fingers, so they can sense with their fingers.
Right?
It's horrifying. It's like the Pale Man from Pan's Labyrinth, only without actual eyeballs.
Oh, I thought you just meant like sensitive like our fingers where you can just feel stuff.
No, our fingers are like how, our nose compared to a dog.
Right, yeah.
It's like that. Well, only fingers.
But we're still better.
I mean, that's why they're constantly washing their hands, because they can feel all the dirt and every little oil on their fingers.
The next sentence here. Somehow I forgot that where this went. Politically ambitious deputy mayor Peter Rabbit sees an opportunity to advance his career and enlist his cousin and best friend to capture the mutant creature.
Is this a horror or a comedy or both? Because if it's a horror comedy, I'm all on board with this. But if it's trying to be serious, you failed.
Well, it's called Bloodmarsh Krakoon. They can't be trying to be that serious. Now that I know, okay, so we have like murderous raccoons. The fact that the deputy mayor is Peter Rabbit makes me want to put this in like the Wolf Among Us type universe, only with just all animals.
Right.
I don't think that's where they're going with it, but like
probably not.
It's a Zootopia kind of world, but with the serial killer and Mayor Peter Rabbit.
Yeah.
Okay. He wants to advance his career and enlist his cousin and best friend to capture the mutant creature, unaware that two more bloodthirsty Krakoons are lurking in the shadows.
There's a den. There's a Krakoon den.
This is sort of like the lamest twist of this that you could have, though.
It's
like, we have more.
I like mine better.
What was your twist?
No, just my version.
Oh, with the,
giant cephalopoid moth. Also, cephalopoid is a fun word.
It is a fun word. The final one for today is the longest one that we have on the list. It's the Suckling. Looking for advice.
So, okay.
No, okay.
Murder pig, baby murder pig.
Baby murder pig.
Because it's a suckling. And really that applies to any animal that's still suckling, but pigs are terrifying. So it's either murder pig or even better, baby murder fawn. Deer.
Oh, like the yearling kind of thing?
Death Bambi.
I like that idea. Up the odds of Bambi versus Godzilla.
You got to up that a lot, man.
Well, they made King Kong bigger and faster, and he's still growing.
He's still going to lose.
Why?
Because it's Godzilla. Godzilla survived.
There's no way they're going to have that end up being a fight just between those two.
Well, I mean, no, the fight's going to get distracted halfway through by probably King Ghidorah's going to show back up.
Yeah, and then they have to team together. Like that's how you have to do that.
I tweeted online that it's basically the Avengers only with giant monsters, and therefore, while less, worse writing probably, more awesome.
I'm thinking closer to like Batman v Superman, but where Batman is Godzilla and Superman is King Kong, or vice versa. Yeah, probably vice versa. because King Kong has no powers; he's just strong. So that would make sense. So King Kong is Batman.
So unfortunately, we're not going to get a great shot of King Kong driving the Kongmobile and smashing Godzilla and having to jump out of it.
Woo! But it'll probably be more fun.
Yeah.
I don't know where we got off on that. We're talking about the Suckling looking for advice about an unexpected pregnancy.
Right.
An innocent teenage couple wind up in a New York brothel. Because
what turns they took to get there. They get some bad advice on this trip. I mean,
yeah.
Maybe one of them is like friends with like one of the prostitutes.
Okay.
And so they went to her because, you know, she's constantly having sex as her job. It's like maybe this has happened and she knows what to do.
Well, I know that back in the day, you know, prostitutes would get pregnant with relative frequency.
Yeah.
Although they did have a myth that they didn't have any kind of birth control back then, and prostitutes would probably be the most likely to know about that. But still, nothing's 100%. So, you're having a lot of sex, you might get pregnant.
I mean, you're definitely at higher risk.
Here, though, we're talking about New York in the modern day, probably after Roe v. Wade. How do these people know a ton about getting pregnant? Like, they're doing it wrong. There is birth control at this point, and condoms.
Yeah, but people still have unplanned pregnancies now.
Yeah, I get that. Anyway, while they're there, they accidentally set off a bizarre series of events that they'll never forget, if they live to tell about it.
Oh, yeah, one of those.
The unconsenting girl is drugged, her baby aborted, and the fetus is flushed down the toilet.
This is an icky movie.
So it's going to get better. I do want to say this is super uncomfortable to read that particular sentence. This is on levels of, like, Nazis at the center of the earth uncomfortable for that particular scene. Why do you got to do this in your... Like, abortion is not a fun topic for anybody. Like, nobody thinks abortion is fun. Nobody. It's not like good pulp material. The baby, which I guess is not a fetus anymore because he's out.
That's true. That's a fact.
Exposed to toxic waste, regenerates and transforms into a very vengeful mutant. This is a weird X-Men movie.
Nope, he doesn't have an X gene. It's just a Marvel movie.
Oh, because because it's toxic waste?
Yeah.
So it has to be... So are the mutants kind of racist?
The mutants themselves?
Well, I'm saying if you're going to discriminate against somebody and be like, you're not a real mutant, you weren't born this way. That seems...
I mean, they hang out with Spider-Man a lot. I say a lot. Fairly often. But it keeps coming down to the fact that they were genetically predisposed to have superpowers, whereas he just had an accident.
Right. You and me have had this discussion before, right?
There's not like a cruel, like, you're not one of us. And in one of the Ultimate comics, somebody calls Spider-Man a mutant. And he's like, I'm not a mutant. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I actually have good friends who are mutants. They have that straight up discussion.
Yeah. Well, they also have the problem of specifically using the word mutant gets you into weird copyright issues because of who owns what in the movie universe.
And it's also, you and I have talked about this a lot, but the X-Men don't really work in a universe with other superheroes.
Yeah. We don't like all you people with powers. Hi, Superman! No, Superman's not there, but you know what I mean.
It's like, Spider-Man, Jonah doesn't like you, but you save people a lot and you're a good guy. You wear those red, white, and blue and you make us proud. Wolverine, you have the wrong genes. I hate you as a person. Oh, what's up, Mr. Fantastic? You had an accident in space, but you help people out. Good guy. Kind of a crappy father and husband, but good guy. Colossus, you're Russian, that's cool, but you're an X-Men, you're immune, you must die.
Yep, it's
let's build giant robots designed to genetically hunt you down.
I think it's a good thing that Fox has that movie series in a separate location. I agree with you that it would be weird to bring them into the Marvel universe. I think the Marvel could do it. They've been very smart with how they've integrated things before, and I'm very excited for how they're integrating Iron Man into the new Spider-Man movie. Mm-hmm. That really, really works, but your point is very valid.
Thank you.
Moving back to this movie, though, now that we've gotten past the abortion thing, it's fun because
thank you, X-Men.
We have the baby transformed into a vengeful mutant using its umbilical cord as a deadly tentacle and its razor-sharp arms as claw-like weapons, which, by the way, that's true, but babies have incredibly sharp fingernails. The mutant begins to wreak absolute chaos.
That's amazing.
Yeah, right? That's something I need to see. I need to see, like, baby crawling up the walls, whipping people around with its umbilical tentacle. This is a movie that I want to watch. That and the one we did last episode with the werewolf 10 Little Indians version. Both of those are on my list to watch after we talk about them. Very much. Very much. It transforms the house into a womb-like cocoon surrounded by an...
How? It was toxic waste that did this, right?
Yeah. Maybe it's like spitting stuff out, or it's maybe baby poop, like magic baby poop does it.
And now I'm thinking about Ed and Eddie, but yeah, I guess kind of like the resin that the aliens produce.
It's something like that. Obviously, I mean, it's weird, right? It's not physically possible, much like everything else in this movie, except for getting pregnant.
Well, I mean, that's like complaining about how the alien in the first movie managed to get that much mass that fast. That's one of those things you just kind of accept that it can do.
It transforms the house into a womb-like cocoon surrounded by an airtight mucous membrane from which there is no escape.
Gross.
I do like, though, that like you're in this hellscape this thing has created, being hunted down by it. I mean, putting aside the question of how feasible that is, it's really awesome that they're like scrambling around this, again, crazy womb-like mucus dripping, probably hot place with this thing hiding in the shadows, like whipping out its umbilical cord tentacle at everybody.
I'm getting a lot of Dead Space vibes now.
Yep.
Because that has the meat moss growing on the wall, and then it has the demon babies. 3 flavors of demon babies, depending on the game you're playing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the first one has just straight up babies. The second
I really got to play that game. I have it on Steam, and I just haven't got around to it.
You also have it on 360.
I thought I had... Yeah, but
Space,
it's easier to play on Steam because I'm already got my computer on.
Fair enough. Yeah, the first one has just babies who are from the medical lab where they were, the babies would go in there because it's not safe to have babies in space.
Right.
And they grow, and they would also use them to grow spare parts for people in case they get hurt. They get infected by the necromorph, what virus, signal, whatever you want to call it, because there's the whole thing with that. Then the second one has little kids, like 5 and under, and then like fetal babies who have like tumors that make them explode like mines.
Awesome.
And they're the worst because they come in swarms. And then the third one has these kids who are like emaciated and covered with moss.
Okay.
And you have to sneak around them, otherwise they swarm you and will tear you to pieces.
All of that is awesome.
Yeah, Dead Space is great.
With each passing hour, the minds and actions of all involved become increasingly panicked, bizarre, and desperate.
That's fair. This is not a fun environment they're in.
So there's... This sentence is just... I think this was from a review or something. I forget where I got this. Mm-hmm. The Suckling has been compared to Alien for its claustrophobic intensity and Die Hard for its nonstop action and heightened drama.
That does not describe the first Die Hard.
All of those things are not like the other.
I mean...
We'd already made the Alien...
To be fair, Die Hard is actually kind of between the first 2 Alien movies. Because there are like these really... high-energy action scenes, and then a whole lot of just, like, drama and...
Like crawling through vents tense, moments of tension.
But with the humor of the second one, which is why I didn't say it was like the third one, because the third one is not funny.
No, I don't like the second one very much. I think the third one's pretty great. The second one's just sort of like, let's do that again, but in a different place. Okay? It's fine. It's not, like, the worst.
I like the progression of the Die Hard movies. First you're in a building, then you're in an airport, then you're in Washington... No, then you're in New York, then you're in Washington, and then you're in Russia. Next they got to do like all of Africa, right? And then they're going to do like a world tour.
Sure.
And then they go to Mars.
Okay.
That's the feature of the
Die Hard
series.
They cross over with Fast and Furious. The conclusion of The Suckling proves in a way never before seen that the special bond that exists between a mother and her child transcends everything in its path.
No.
Yeah?
No.
I'm kind of on your side with that one. Also, it's a little bit problematic, isn't it? Or a lot problematic. Also, she wanted to get rid of the thing. Or no, she didn't.
She didn't know what to do, so she was on the fence about it, and the child was forcibly aborted.
Yeah, what kind of brothel? Okay.
So
I don't want to dig too deep into the squeaky stuff, but
does this thing understand that it was aborted? And if so, does it understand that it was not by her choice?
Well, I mean,
how
it talks about the
is this thing?
bond, so I'm going to assume that ultimately she's able to calm it down. Like, there's a genetic thing.
Have you seen Alien Resurrection?
No.
The newborn, which is a half-human, half-alien fusion monstrosity abomination, has a bond with Ripley 8, and she still murders it.
Okay.
By putting a hole in a side of the spaceship and it gets sucked out.
I'm just curious what they thought was going to happen here. Like, they went to this brothel. Like, they are obviously doing abortions at the brothel.
They were going for advice. And then clearly the people there took it way too out of hand.
Yeah, I guess, like, can I get some advice about what I should do with my baby? Yup, drug. No, that's not how that works. It's weird.
I feel like this was just very, like, strawman anti-abortion.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
You think this is the
the
horror version of Reefer Madness for our times?
Yes.
Okay. I still want to see it, though.
Like, pulpier.
Yes. It sounds great. And
it's equally more awful and more fun sounding than Reefer Madness.
Yes. I would agree with that.
Because of the subject matter.
Well, that is everything that we have for this week, guys. Thanks so much for listening. If you like this podcast, tell somebody about it. Give us a rating on iTunes. That really helps, apparently. And tune in next week for another episode of Too Weird I Didn't Watch.
Bye, guys.
Bye.